All right, ladies and gentlemen of D-Class personnel, my name is Commander for those of you who don't know me. Now, before we get into it, a little reminder is in order. As you know, I am the one who briefs D-Class personnel on the SCP they're about to go study. Studying SCPs is dangerous depending on which one you're randomly selected for, as well as your position in the study itself. You may be asked to ingest something dangerous, enter an unexplored realm, or simply take notes while other D-Class personnel in your group do so. This is not news. All of you have been incarcerated for extended sentences, some of you multiple life sentences, for various crimes. You were offered this position working with the SCP Foundation as, I'm not going to lie, guinea pigs, but in the event you survive, you'll be granted full pardons and get your lives back. Sounds like a fair trade to me. Now, if you survive whatever test we give you, you're free. Now, with that unnecessary reminder out of the way, I want to address the security breach last week. We've contained all entities that escaped from... aside from one that has taken a liking to presenting itself as a carbon copy of myself. The reason we haven't shut down this whole facility yet is because this doppelganger is deemed a low-level threat and deemed mostly harmless. Now, as we work to contain the creature, which has a molecular structure down to the DNA identical to mine, if the word Oklahoma is said in its presence, or if the creature itself says the word Oklahoma, it will seek out the nearest D-Class personnel and shine a light from its eyes, a green beam that looks like a laser pointer beam, and aim it at the lower torso of whoever it chooses. This beam is not harmful if you touch it, but it will rearrange all internal organs by stacking them inside the body in alphabetical order. This is not harmful to the target, though urinating and defecating will become a bit weirder. If you don't like passing gas from your tear ducts, please do not use the trigger word around the creature or myself, just in case, until we contain the thing. Now, what we're looking at is SCP-777, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. The area known as SCP-777 is to be contained behind 2-meter-tall electric fencing. Motion-activated turrets are to be placed within the area in order to prevent any instances of SCP-777-1 from escaping the containment area. No liquids are allowed within the area known as SCP-777. Any civilians approaching SCP-777 are to be interrogated and subsequently dosed with Class A amnestics. For the sake of secrecy, SCP-777 is to be represented as a military bombing range on all maps of the area, and any satellite imaging is to be doctored by dedicated staff to represent the area as such. Any personnel entering SCP-777 are to wear sealed, ventilated pressure suits to prevent liquid coming into contact with SCP-777. These suits are to be checked for ruptures before entering SCP-777. Any instances of SCP-777-1 outside of SCP-777 are to be destroyed at the first possible opportunity. In the event that SCP-777 experiences rainfall, on-site personnel are to authorize a bombing run to neutralize the threat posed. Description: SCP-777 is an area of land spanning 5 square kilometers located in the desert, referred to by locals as the Kingdom of Sand. Unidentified radio interference is present within SCP-777, with the source currently unknown. SCP-777 demonstrates a further anomalous property when sand within the area comes into contact with any type of liquid. The moisturized sand will animate, typically taking the shape of an animal proportionate to the amount of sand moisturized. These entities will hereafter be referred to as SCP-777-1. Instances of SCP-777-1 will behave aggressively to any life forms that enter SCP-777 and will attack on sight. SCP-777-1 will single-mindedly hunt their prey and have on several occasions followed intruders out of SCP-777 and into nearby towns. Instances of SCP-777-1 do not appear to attack each other, and instead behave in a hive mind, using flanking maneuvers to distract and kill their victims. SCP-777-1 typically collapse and become inanimate if not provided with further moisture after 24 hours, although this timescale seems to be longer in smaller instances. Sand retrieved from SCP-777 appears to retain its anomalous qualities until it is taken a further 6 kilometers away from SCP-777. Taking advantage of this, a research outpost has been established 2 kilometers away from SCP-777, and research on the anomalous sand is currently being undertaken. Analysis of the radio interference and evidence given in Interview 777-1 indicate that the source of the anomalous events is the center of SCP-777. However, all attempts to reach it have met with failure. History: SCP-777 was discovered by the Foundation during a routine myth verification operation undertaken by Mobile Task Force Zeta-17, the Beach Bullies. Contact was lost with Task Force Zeta-17 1 hour after the mission began. Mobile Task Force 522, the Well-Wishers, then began a rescue operation and managed to retrieve the leader of Mobile Task Force Zeta-17 and only survivor of the incident on the outskirts of SCP-777, who informed research staff of SCP-777's nature. This is Test 777-1A. Materials used: 1 grain of sand taken from SCP-777. Result: drop of water is applied to sand. No visible effect. Test 777-1B. Materials used: small clump of sand taken from SCP-777. Result: water is applied to sand. Sand animates into 3 European hornets, which then escape from containment and attack security officer. Security officer is relatively unharmed, as the hornets are unable to properly sting him. SCP-777-1 was then destroyed by a second member of security. Test 777-1C. Materials used: 2 connected small clumps of sand taken from SCP-777. Result: water is applied to sand. Sand animates into what appears to be a hybrid between a crab and an octopus. SCP-777-1 is immobile and destroyed without incident. Test 777-1D. Materials used: mixture of regular sand and sand taken from SCP-777. Result: water is applied to mixture. Sand taken from SCP-777 animates into an African rock python, which burrows out of the sand and is destroyed by security when it attempts to escape containment. Test 777-1E. Materials used: sand taken from SCP-777 contained in a test tube. Result: water is applied to sand. Sand animates into an unidentified mass which demonstrates acidic qualities. SCP-777-1 is destroyed without incident. Test 777-1F. Materials used: large mound of sand taken from SCP-777 and a tank filled with water. Result: sand is inserted into water tank. Sand takes slightly longer to animate into a juvenile great white shark. SCP-777-1 does not suffocate when water is removed from the tank and is subsequently destroyed by security. Test 777-1G. Materials used: sand taken from SCP-777 formed into a sculpture of a cat. Result: water is applied to sand. Sand animates into 3 abnormally large scorpions. SCP-777-1 is destroyed by security without incident. Test 777-1H. Materials used: sand taken from SCP-777 placed next to a small plant. Result: water is applied to sand. Sand animates into an unknown form of plant life, which appears to strangle the plant placed next to it. SCP-777-1 is destroyed by security without incident. Note: it appears that SCP-777-1 manifests itself as whatever is deadliest to the nearest organism. This note was written by Dr. Now we have an excerpt of an interview here that I'm going to go ahead and read for you. Interviewer is Dr. Forward. This interview was conducted after was retrieved from SCP-777. Interview was taking place to ascertain SCP-777's nature. Begin log. Now, just for the sake of time, and to the people that have to analyze these audio files for the rest of the SCP Foundation and put in static where there needs to be information redacted, instead of saying the actual word to where they're going to have to X that audio out, I'm just going to say the word redacted just to save them a little bit of sanity, because there's going to be a lot of redacted material here. So, Dr. Redacted, hello, Redacted. I just need to ask you a few questions about what happened. Subject, hi, Doc. Fire away, I guess. Dr. Redacted, when did you discover SCP-777's unique quality? Subject, we'd been in that damn desert for 15 minutes, and Redacted just wiped some sweat off his hand and oh, Jesus Christ. Dr. Redacted, please continue. Subject does not respond. Dr. Redacted sighs and applies a Class B desensitizer. Dr. Redacted, this'll help. Now, tell me what happened in the desert. Subject, monotonous. Got swarmed by the ants. They ate him and then they ate me. Dr. Redacted, no, they did not eat you. You're sitting here talking to me. Subject, I am sitting here talking to you. Dr. Redacted, okay, so what happened next? Subject, well, me and the others ran away. Redacted was bleeding and he fell over and it made a messed up kind of crab. Dr. Redacted, I'm sorry? Subject, it looked like a crab gone wrong, too long and too flat, and I think we were blind. Dr. Redacted, what happened next? Subject does not reply. Dr. Redacted asks again. 10 seconds pass. Dr. Redacted, answer the question, please. Subject, I kept on running. Those things were right behind me, and I just kept running. They got... I think it was rats that got him. I just kept on running. Dr. Redacted, did you see anything else when you were in SCP-777? Subject, sand. It was just sand. Buildings made out of sand, oceans made out of sand, animals made out of sand. They were huge, bigger than the buildings. Dr. Redacted, this was the center, yes? The center of SCP-777? Subject, no. It was close, though. I carried on running and I went through there. Dr. Redacted, can you tell me what was in the center? Subject, there was nothing, just more sand. At this point, the subject collapsed and was removed by medical staff. End log. Closing statement. Was later diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder and given temporary leave for stress. He will be under observation indefinitely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was SCP-777. You are dismissed.